On today's episode, we are going to take a look at my favorite company, and that is Nvidia. Today, some great news came out for the company. As we can see from the stock price, it is up over 5% as I am recording this episode. So on today's episode, what we're going to do, we're going to take a look at what's really moving the stock price today. And there's also a few products that I don't think are moving the stock right now, but I do believe it's great for investors to talk about. So like always, if this is your first time here, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and follow me on Twitch where I live stream, taking a look at stocks you want me to look at. So let's get started. But before we begin, let's take a listen to today's sponsor. I want to thank the Motley for sponsoring this video. The Motley is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. You guys know I love finding new investing tools and resources to help me scout out new growth stocks. And right now I have a discount for one of my favorite services the Fool offers. Through the Motley Stock Advisor services, you get access to a ton of expert stock picks. Every month you'll get 2 new picks that are aimed at growing your wealth and to help you realize your financial goals. Stock Advisor's average stock picks have done amazing returns. If growing your money is something you'd like to do more of this year, you can visit fool.com/Jose Najarro or click on the link below for access to my special offer and decide if the Stock Advisor is right for you. Thanks again to the Motley Fool, and now onto today's video. Alright, so like I mentioned, today we're going to take a look at Nvidia. It's currently at $610. It is up about 5.9% as I am recording this episode. And this is traded under the NASDAQ as ticker NVDA. From its all-time high in the past year, this stock is actually about to break it. It's down about 0.5% from there. It currently has a market cap of $378 billion. And for me, Nvidia is one of the few companies that I believe in the next 5 to 10 years can easily achieve $1 trillion market cap. And that's why to me it is one of my favorite. It is actually my number 1 position in my portfolio right now. Today was Investors Day for Nvidia, and a lot of great news came out. We're going to take a look at all the different products that came out today, but I do believe there's 2 news that have really pushed Nvidia to go up almost 6% for the day. The first thing is they announced their first quarter fiscal 2022 revenue is tracking to be above the outlook. And that's that the guidance they gave us previously on their last earnings was already expecting some form of growth. Now they're saying, hey, that growth that we gave you was not high enough. We're achieving better numbers. I do believe that's a major reason the stock price is moving up today, because as investors really care about what's happening right now or in the next few quarters. The second news that I believe is driving Nvidia's price up right now is that they just announced a data center CPU. And the data center CPU is a market they haven't been hitting. So right now, a lot of other semiconductor companies right now might be taking a beating because Nvidia is coming here, and a lot of investors believe that Nvidia has some strong technology behind them to be able to take some of this market share from some of those other data center CPU players. The new CPU is going to be called Grace, and like I mentioned, it is the first data center CPU. What I'm really liking about this is that it is an ARM-based CPU, where most of the CPUs created right now are based on the x86 platform. The ARM platform is expected to continue to dominate in the upcoming years as the x86 becomes more of a legacy product. So I'm happy to see that they are starting off with an ARM-based processor. All right, so those are the 2 things that I believe are really driving Nvidia's stock price up right now. But there are some cool products that they came out with that I'm going to explain a little bit about them that I believe are great reasons to buy into Nvidia right now for long-term investments. So the first cool product that they talked about was this Omniverse. And this Omniverse is actually a video I've done previously. The reason they kind of announced this is when I first talked about it, I want to say 2-3 months ago, it was just under testing. Now they're kind of releasing it to the general public. So Omniverse is the world's first technological platform that enables global 3D design teams working across multiple software suites to collaborate in real time in a shared virtual space. So you might be like, Jose, what the heck does that mean? So let's say I am a car company. Let's say I own a car company and I have multiple engineers working on different parts for this car. Maybe one engineer is working on software A that's working on designing the electronics. The other one is working on coloring or internal or design of the car. Another one is working on aerodynamics of the car. Another one is working on the tire. All of these engineers are using different softwares, right? And I would say it's a bit difficult for them to all collaborate at the same time. Maybe someone might have to wait for someone to be done before they continue something else. With the Omniverse, it kind of puts all of them, even though they're working in different softwares, into like this form of metaverse, for example, and allows all these engineers to work on their independent part, but still be able to see the progress those other engineers are doing. And obviously, I just gave an example of working in a car manufacturing, but this can be done. Imagine a video game or doing some form of architecture or construction site. There is a lot of places where a software or a platform like this can help speed up the overall development. This Omniverse is also going to be a strong platform for future developments of NVIDIA. NVIDIA is creating this thing which they call drive simulation. It's a drive sim. And I do believe this drive simulation is my favorite thing that NVIDIA is coming up with right now. And the reason I say this, right, I do believe automation driving is going to be the future for sure. I can't wait till I no longer have to drive. I still want to drive, but if I want to just, for example, work on a video or do something, and I can have automated robo taxi or something driving me elsewhere while I continue to work, that would be insane on my time. One thing that's really hard for that to happen is the amount of data collected, the amount of data needed to have an autonomous driving world is insane. And right now, there's probably only one car manufacturer that has that amount of data. So, what's the next best thing? We don't have real world data. So, what if we run a simulation on, for example, a driving world? And these type of simulations now allow these types of manufacturers to collect this data a lot faster because they don't need to have real vehicles out in the world collecting this data. They can just run these simulations. You might be like, Jose, but a simulation, why is it important? Why is NVIDIA doing this? Can't just a game creator or somebody else do this? So even though it is a simulation, it's probably going to look like a video game. This simulation needs to do certain things. It needs to make sure that there are real sensors and the sensors are exactly how they would act in the real world. It has to be something that has great timing and repeatability. It needs to have the laws of physics are being used properly in the simulation. So it's more than just creating a game. And I do believe this right here could be the way where many manufacturers or many car manufacturers enter this autonomous vehicle world, and it's through the simulation. Right now they are on early access, and I can't wait till I learn a little bit more about this concept. And still talking about this autonomous world, NVIDIA also has other solutions, and they've actually have great partnerships already with their NVIDIA Drive solutions, for example, for robo taxis, for next generation of electric vehicle revolution. And also they do mention that truck drivers are on high demand and are expected to be in high demand for the next few years. So they are working on a concept to help out with full autonomous trucks. Some other cool things is NVIDIA released their next generation. They kind of gave us a roadmap of these drive solutions. Here we take a look at Atlan. Atlan is a single system on a chip. It's going to be powered by Grace, which is their next CPU, by their Ampere, which is their next GPU, and by their Bluefield, which is their current DPU. So we can see NVIDIA is hitting all types of markets right now with those three chips. And this is a roadmap. Right now, they are not producing the NVIDIA Atlan, but I love to see roadmaps. It tells me that, hey, this company is not just telling me, hey, we're going to do this. They're actually showing me how they're going to do that. So right now, the current version of Atlan is actually Orin. Orin is the current system on chip right now, and it's the main platform driving NVIDIA's drive solutions. Like I mentioned, NVIDIA seems to be very, very bullish in the overall autonomous vehicle, and I'm really, really liking it. They have a lot of great platforms for there. Here we can see Hyperion 8, which is, for example, a turnkey solution. Let's say you are a car manufacturer and you want to make sure that you are kind of ready for this autonomous world. NVIDIA kind of sells a whole solutions with sensors, with the power needed, with everything needed to kind of validate those platforms. Or let's say you're starting off a new manufacturing company and you want to work on these self-driving solutions, you can just buy this instead of kind of starting from scratch. And this solution will be available later this year. All right, so now we're kind of moving outside of the autonomous driving solutions. And there's another cool market that NVIDIA is hitting that they announced. NVIDIA is now doing market launch industry on their enterprise server platforms for AI. You're gonna be like, Jose, what does this mean again? So right now, let's say you are a company, right? And there's certain companies that can't use too many products in the cloud or too many things outside of their enterprise server because they might have they might be working on national security, right? If you work in national security, you're limited to what you are able to do outside of your enterprise server. And so you might be missing out on some of like these cloud platforms, on these high computing processes that are available outside of your enterprise network. So NVIDIA is actually creating a solution for those types of companies that might have some form of security reason that they can't use the outside sources, and kind of bringing that sources to their server. I do believe this is going to be a great move. Again, it's very bullish for, I want to say, defense, contract and defense companies, ones that have to deal with national security. So there are a few players you guys could think about that could benefit from something like this. So next, we're going to talk about SuperPod. SuperPod is pretty much just a supercomputing from NVIDIA. And this is going to open the world of artificial intelligence to enterprise. We can see this is going to be a monster. It's going to be powered by multiple DPUs, by multiple of NVIDIA's high-power GPUs. And I do believe this is going to be a great concept. Again, all of these stuff that I keep mentioning are ones that I don't believe will drive dramatic force to NVIDIA's stock price, but in the future can be some strong winners for the company. Next, they also announced their next generation of data processing unit, DPU. So like we saw, NVIDIA is now GPU, DPUs, and CPU market, and I believe that is insane. NVIDIA is definitely a force to be reckoned with. Next, we're gonna take a look at some other solutions that NVIDIA owns. I wanna say these four that I'm gonna take a look at are super small, but overall a very cool concept and very cool and very great for the long term of things. First, we're going to take a look at NVIDIA Merlin. Merlin is pretty much a training and interface platform. They help, for example, if you are an advertisement company, maybe a video company, maybe an e-commerce company. So this training speeds up the process, makes it more optimal, and in the return, you get better results at a faster time, which means a happier customer. With happier customer means more money in your company. Next, they announced NVIDIA's Jarvis, which is their interactive conversational AI framework. Right now, if you are an app developer or a software developer trying to create something with voice, you can use this to speed up that process. Again, I do believe voice is going to be a huge player in the artificial world, right? For smart homes, smart cities, you're going to want to talk. NVIDIA also launched Morpheus, and Morpheus is going to enable companies to develop AI solutions that can instantly detect cyber breaches. So this is going to be great for cybersecurity plays. We can see NVIDIA's in every market, right? So why are you not holding NVIDIA is definitely a question. NVIDIA to me is my number one position, and a position I believe will continue to grow as the years progress. They also have NVIDIA Clara, and Clara is one that helps the pharmaceutical world get some form of solutions to some of these health issues faster. So like I mentioned, these are everything we learned about today in NVIDIA's Investors Relations. There were a few more, but these were the fun ones that I enjoyed, the ones I do believe can impact NVIDIA some way or another. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Like always, make sure to hit the subscribe button and let me know in the comments. Are you an NVIDIA shareholder right now? Are you planning on being a shareholder? If not, what are you waiting for? Let me know in the comments below. Take care, have a good night, and see you next time.